Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today's video is starting to put together my Lego city. I know it's about time, right? I've been having everything I need to do it. I just don't have the tables to do it. And of course, I need Lego parts to, finalize it. But the main thing here was the Lego tables. So I was able to acquire a bunch of those tables. Not everything I need so far, but I think it'll give me enough to at least have half my city ready. And then with time, I'll get the other half of the tables to finalize my city. So here we go. I got these tables. I got 6 of them, and with the legs, of course. And I'm gonna start putting them together and start, starting to put the plates, the first plate on the tables, where I'm gonna start laying down my foundation, which will allow me then to put together you know, the the buildings and things like that. So with no further ado, let's go ahead and put these tables together and see what they look like. So everyone, I put together the tables. As you can see, pretty much what you see there is a total of so far 6 tables, 3 on each side. This is pretty much 1/3 of my what's going to be my Lego city, uh, per my calculation. So these are tables I got from IKEA, like I said. So like I said, just follow the description if you're interested in them. Uh, the way my approach is, I'm building the Lego city by thirds. I build the 1/3, then I build the second 1/3, and the 1/3, and that way I move all the way from the back to the beginning. I don't know. That's my approach. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but that's what I have so far. So tables are laid up, foundation laid down. I try to use everything I have, parts. That way I don't rack the cost up. So as you can see, I use the old road plates because I'm interested in using the new ones, which are these road plates. So the old ones will not work for me anymore. So instead of just saving them, I thought instead of buying new base plates like those to use to start the foundation, I start using those road plates. So they covered I mean, as you can tell, they covered the 1/3 of my area, which I'm happy with. So then the other 2/3 will be most probably covered with my regular base plates, which you could see I'm stacking them over there at that corner. I don't have a lot still. I still have to buy with time, but I have enough maybe uh, to build what I need. Maybe half my city, and then the rest half I have to start buying stuff. So anyway, so with this being said, so you can see the foundation there. So I start putting together certain things, how I want the buildings to look like and the road, just to have an idea. It's a work in progress. Of course, I'm sure I'm going to be moving things a lot, but I thought that's a nice starting point. So the first thing I want to bring up is the point of using the road plates, the new ones. As you can tell, the new ones have a different thickness than the old ones, which you see here. As you can tell, it's literally uh, uh, about half, or I believe 1/3. So you need, I believe, 3 of these to make up, I think, one of these. So a couple of options I have in order to be able to use the new road system, which is this, and I use my buildings, right? So they look pretty much make sense. I have to either follow the approach of something called the Mills plate, which I'm sure you can, if you're a Lego fan, you know what I'm talking about, where you create base plates by using bricks and plates, and then you transfer the buildings that you have from the regular base plate to those uh, thick base plates, which Mills plate they call them, which will be thicker than this, of course. I would say twice of this, right? And then you lay them down and then you're done. But of course, by doing that approach, it's going to cost a lot of money because you need a lot of bricks and plates and all the stuff, which I cannot at this point, shed on these things. So I have to use what I have. So the second approach is to elevate, keeping everything the same, meaning the buildings I have on whatever they're built on, and just elevate them to the height will make sense compared to the road plates, right, which are these. As you can tell, I put my 2 marks there, my SETCOM building, which is over there, and then I have another tower I'm working on, which is going to be like a 5-6 story tower. I only have the first floor done, the ground floor, I guess. And then I have the other building there, the Daily Bugle. So my last row is going to be like buildings kind of thing, because they're too tall. So I think you can see them from far away. And then as I move, I'll have the modulars, and then I'll have other things, right? Like maybe I'm going to have maybe like a amusement park or things like that. I don't know yet. So we'll see with time. But, and then I want to have my train track, which I want to have the main train track, which runs around the whole Lego city from the back end of it. So that's another project that I need to start figuring out how I'm going to secure those train tracks. So there's a lot of options out there. The cheapest, of course, is just lay them down there, but they will not look good. Of course, the second option would be is you ballast them, and ballasting comes with different approaches. Let me get closer to tell you what I'm talking about here. Let's start first with the approach how I'm gonna raise my building. So let me move the camera and just get closer here. So as you can tell, I put my road system here just to give you a flavor, right? So this is my highway or my main road, right? Two-lane road. And then from there, they're gonna be branches of it. And then in between, I'm gonna have some modulars or whatever buildings laying down. I guess that's the main approach, right? Like I said, here's gonna be a layer of skyscrapers, tall buildings. So I have a couple of them I'm working on, like I said, this one project. I have another one that's gonna be there, which is gonna be 2 base plates in width. And then I'll have 2 base plates left there for future, what do you call that? Future building, skyscraper. Okay, so that's one. So this is my road approach, right? So as you can tell here, the way I lifted it, so you can see now it makes sense, right? So I have my pedestrian, I guess, the curb is higher than the road. And the way I did it is I had to lift without transferring to a milk plate. So you can see here, the other one here, right? This allows me also to do like things like drainage, to make a drainage here, which is kind of cool. I like the approach I did. Of course, I don't want to get credit for it, but I read a lot about these things and I just modified it to what I like. But people use these approaches, so I did my own. Whatever I had parts and I did it. So this is what's going to look like from far away. So I think I love it, right? From the road system, you have the curb appeal there. You have a place where pedestrians can walk. And of course here, I don't know yet what to do here. Now, the way I did that, we'll get back to the train track. And then at the back, I have to clean up all this stuff here. So the back will look like here. I have a small alley here, which will be paved by using those tiles. So the dark gray tile, I think I'm gonna put there, and maybe I'll just put some stuff like bushes and things like that, in the alley kind of thing, right? Broken bottles, things like that. I don't know. More to come on that. And here, what I said, it's gonna look like it's gonna be where I'm gonna add my new building. So let me show you what I mean by elevating. Let me just grab a couple of bricks from here, plates, and just give you a flavor of what I'm talking about. So the way I'm doing it, at least that's for me, like I said, everybody does it differently. I'm just trying to keep the cost down, right? And use what I have from parts. So the first approach I did is I used these base plates that came with the road system, which I don't need them anywhere else. So of course I use all of them. So I ran out. But as I get more road plates, because that's all I have left there, right? Which I don't have much there left anyway. So I most probably have to end up buying more. So as I buy more, I'm going to utilize those base plates. They come with 8x4 and a 4x4. So what I did is I created a perimeter or a boundary around what I call 2 studs long, I guess more than the base plate of the buildings. So the base plates of the building are 32. So what I did is I created a perimeter, which is 2 more studs from the front and 2 more, from the back, 2 more, and 2 from the front. So I created the perimeter over there. So that lifted everything up by 1. So if I put a base plate on it, which let me grab one. Sorry, I should have been better prepared than that. So let's grab one of those base plates, right? Which is what your building is going to be built on, right? It's going to be 16 by 32 or 32 by 32. So what happens is you put the base plate pretty much, which will elevate them by 1, right? Because I put the green base plates. So that's number 1. But then when I did this approach, I didn't like it because it'll line up with the road system, which didn't make sense. We always have a curb. Wherever you go in the world, there's always a curb from the road. So I didn't like it. So I said, okay, let me lift one more tile. So what I did is one more plate, I mean. So I took these kind of plates, whatever I had, different colors. In this case, I had red, green, I had yellow over here, I had black, whatever. I had some crazy stuff like that. So what I did, I start putting on top of them. Of course, I can't show you here because they're all secured now. But you can see I start putting another layer of plates, right, on the perimeter above the green base plates. So I just did them on the four sides. One side here, one at the bottom there, and same on the other side and the other side. By doing that, now I lifted up the buildings by two plates, right? So you have two of these plates. Imagine them stacking on each other like that, right? And then the base plate of the building, which is this one. So if you can imagine, it's going to be like that. Just let's try to use one hand here. So what I did is you have now the two base plates at there, and you have, the two plates, and then you have your building, which is on a base plate of these on top of it. By doing that, right, approach, I was able to get what you see here, the length, the height I needed to represent a curb appeal, right? So that's what I did. So by trial and error. So now since I have the approach done, and I did that, so all I did now is wherever I needed a building, all I did is I put, of course, the first perimeter, the green stuff, and then on top I start putting tiles of that sort. Whatever I had, I could salvage from my inventory, and I just put them like you see here. I had blue here, I had blue there, I had some black there, red, whatever it is. So I put them everywhere, and in the center of each of these plates, I just placed one of those, two of those things, like one, and then I just placed two. That way it secures, just from a support standpoint. Like for example, this building is so heavy, I didn't want it to sag in the middle because it's a plate and a half, base plate, so it's like 32 and a 16. So I didn't want it to sag. I wanted to support it not only from the edges, but I wanted to support the center of it. So what I did is on every one of these plates, I put two thickness plates, whatever I had. So I put two here, two here, two here, and so on. Of course, you don't see them now because they're covered by the building. But eventually, as I put buildings, I'm going to put two here, two here, two here, two here, whatever I have, right? I have some white stuff there, I'm going to use them, and so on and so forth. Of course, you could do another way. You could, instead of using two tiles, if you have extra of the road plate system over there, you could slap one of those, because one of these thicknesses is equal to two of these. But of course, I need all these plates for road plates. But if people have a lot of them, they could use that approach. And now you're saving more on these. So all you do, you slap one of those in the center and you move on. So by doing that now, once I did that approach, I was able to place my buildings. So now they look like that. So now let me get to the Daily Bugle, because this is the one that I didn't finish yet. Finishing the front of it on purpose because I wanted to show it to you. So just let me move to the other side of the city just to show you a flavor of what I'm talking about. So you come over here, and now by doing so, and I placed it, as you can tell here, see, this is the plate. It's just holding on other plates. And then I just, all I did is I put some other plates here just to allow me to use these tiles and create a curb appeal here. So that's all I did here, right? At the same time, this will allow me, by using these tiles, I can secure the plate, because we all know these are flexible and they warp with time. As you can see, this is a new set, and I just built it like a few months ago, and it's already warping from here. So what I'll do is I'll be able to secure it by using tiles. At the same time, it will create the curb appeal that you see here. So what I did, all I did is I start adding those 2x8 tiles, bricks, or 2x6 or 2x10, whatever I had, and I just put them all there, and then I start placing those tiles on them. Now the tiles, of course, here, what I did is, because I don't want to see that curb here, all this emptiness. Of course, I ran out of parts, so I'll figure I'll buy more and finish it. But you can see it's finished over there. The way I did that, I used the light bluish gray plates, 1x whatever I had, 1x6, 1x4, 1x8, whatever I had in my inventory, I used them. So let me just grab one. So I use these kind, right? One. By doing that, I was able to secure and I was able to cover the gaps, the emptiness that you see in the Daily Bugle, right? So it just looks nice. And then in certain areas, I created like a drainage. So I just didn't put any plate over there. So it gave you the drainage appeal. And by doing so, I was able to extend. Let me go back to this one. I was able to extend the curb with one more, I guess, stud, right, forward into the road, because I have a two road. I created like a double lane, so it's too long. So I wanted more pathway for the pedestrian, people to walk around. So I was able to add by doing that approach and putting that plate of 1x6 or 1x4 or 1x8 or 1x10, like I said, whatever I had, I was able to extend the curb one stud forward into the road, which, because the road as it is very, very big, very wide, as you can see from the cars I have there. So I have plenty of room to play with. So now it gave me that nice appeal. And then, as you can tell, I finished the side here just like that, by putting all these tiles here, which I'm going to be doing the same in the Daily Bugle. So it secures it very nice and secure. So that's what it looks like. And of course, here, of course, I'm going to be extending the roads. I didn't get that far yet, but you get what I'm trying to do here. So there is going to be the road. It's going to go forward, and it's going to zigzag wherever it's going to go. Same with this road here, and building's going to lay between here, like the modular buildings or whatever. So that's one thing. So here I gotta use this empty space. I might do a parking lot. I might do like maybe some greenery, whatever the case is. I don't know yet. We'll see. Now, so that's approach number one, working on the road system, and what do you call that? Placing the buildings. Now comes to the train track, right? So the train is interesting because that's where it's gonna get tricky. Because I gotta make sure I have the train be able to pass where I want it to pass. So of course the first one is the straightforward one, is having the train go around the whole city, which in my opinion this is okay. All I have to do is just run the track all around the city, just like you see here, and then just run it around, and that's that. But then I'd like to have like a tram system or a train system within the city itself, where people can transport themselves from one location, like let's say from the financial district, whatever you call this here, right, to maybe downtown, right, whatever it is, wherever it's going to end up in the area here. So people with a tram system. So now here it gets tricky. So I want to start using these tracks and embed them within the road system. So that way they look like just like any other. They're going to be built into it. So I have to make sure that I leave space, which I did here, for example, where I could add these train tracks, and of course it's going to be covered with tiles and everything. So it's going to be part of the road system. But then of course I have to make sure that I be able to put stops for the tram. Because as you can see, I have no room here anymore because there's going to be another train track. So I have to study all this stuff, how I'm going to do it. Maybe I'll put it on this side, or maybe, I don't know, something like that. I don't know yet how I'm going to do it, but that's one thing I'm struggling to figure out, how to do the train track for the tram system. And then of course I'm going to come up also with elevated train system. So I get that covered, which is going to be on a tall studs, not tall studs, tall pillars, they call them, Technic pillars. So I will be able to do that, and I have room to do the curving. Now comes to the track themselves. Just a quick thing, the ballasting. Right now, as you can tell, my train track is just laying there. You could leave it like that. This will be the cheapest approach. But if you are spending all this effort and work on making a Lego city like that, it's nice to maybe put some touch to it. So I start playing with the ballasting. Of course, it takes a lot of parts. As you can tell, I use a lot of parts here just to create the part for this curve here. So a lot of parts listed here, and I didn't even finish doing the train track itself, the curve one, because I don't have any more parts. And this is only one corner. Remember, if I'm going to do a circular one, and assuming I only have 4 corners, so I need to do one and that corner there, and then my future 2 corners in there, of course, to make one whole loop. But I know I'm going to have other corners within the city, because I'm sure I'm going to go in here and out of there. So each time I do that stuff, I gotta ballast them. So I need a lot of parts. Now by doing here, of course I have to ballast also the straight ones, which is the same approach. More parts to continue here and all that stuff. So I gotta look into that approach. What's the cost versus a cosmetic appeal of to it? Is it worth it or not? Or leave it like that? Or maybe do a simple ballast, maybe, because there's a lot of ballasting techniques you do where you could maybe use a lot of parts or minimize the parts. So something I have to look into and see what will work for me and my budget. And then afterwards, I have to figure out where I'm going to place my modulars and all that stuff. So I just start moving the modulars from the storage area. As you can tell, I have a few down here. I gotta see where I'm going to start with these four first and start moving forward. And then of course I have over there my marks, one of my mark for Doctor Strange, Sanctuary, and of course the Lego set one there. So I want to put them. Me personally, I was thinking to put them all by the Daily Bugle because they're all Marvel team Lego sets, and maybe throw the Ghostbuster Firehouse by them. Again, I want to figure out how will I make all this work here with the I have so far. But the idea is to finish all this area, and then I'll put the next six tables, three here and three on that side. Put the foundation again and continue moving forward, and then the last will be my 3 and 3 over here, which is 6. So that will give me my total, a total of 18 tables for Lego City. Of course, that will be the level here, and then I'm thinking to go maybe another level because I have empty areas here, so more to come on that. And then I have underneath here where I could have some other stuff going on. Maybe some scenes of certain thing, maybe a train yard or something like that. So I have a lot of potential to do here things, but I want to start with the Lego City first and get that other way, which is very time consuming, both from designing it and putting it together as you keep moving things around here and there. And of course, at the same time, the parts. You need a lot of parts, which is very costly. As we all know, Lego is not a cheap, they're not a cheap hobby. So I gotta make sure that, I buy the parts as the budget pertains. So that's pretty much a quick update of where I am with my Lego City, bringing it back to life after my move to this new place. I thought it's time now to start putting it all together and move my modules from the storage to my Lego City. So hopefully you like this quick overview of my first video for my Lego City, and stay tuned because I'll be posting more to come as I progress with putting together things and the modulars and so on and so forth. So as always, I want to end my video by saying please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. It'll help my channel grow in the Lego community. Please hit the like and share button, and leave a comment or your feedback. I'll always like to read those things and get back to you guys. And if you are not following me on Instagram, please do so. Until next video, let's keep building.